is the last day of finals, and we're doing a mukbang because I have been starving myself, just staying up studying. So I really haven't had the time to eat. So for me, I have Indian curry with the tortillas, but it's not tortillas, it's potatoes with an egg. And then I am craving some mee goreng, so I got some noodles, and then I have a cake because it was recently our birthday. So I have some leftover cake, and then I have water. I have mango juice, and I have tea.
This is like your end of finals meal, you know? A big giant end of
Yeah.
finals.
Yes, I just took three finals today, and then I believe tomorrow I'm taking my last two. So I'm gonna take this time to eat. What do you have?
So, um, I have spicy Korean noodles because I've been craving spicy things, and I put lime into it because I wanted it to taste even more sour. Um, I bought the habanero and lime one, which is already pretty sour itself, but I wanted it to be even more sour, so I drenched it in lime. And I have some toast to help with the spiciness, and I have kimchi. And my drink of the day is just Coca-Cola.
Oh, I would love some kimchi.
hmm This batch, Zoo's sister actually made it for us, so I'm excited to fully try it. So,
So our talk today is
hmm
about something scary because I experienced something really creepy in my apartment.
yes, you go ahead and tell them.
Mhm. So for those who don't know, I just recently moved to this place. It's been 2 months. Um, Look at my cup.
That is cute.
So I've been living here for 2 months, and I'm a person who is like don't really experience scary stuff because I guess I'm just stronger in the mind. But this past weekend, which was Sunday, Christy called me like at 3 o'clock in the morning, and she's telling me about what happened with this weekend because they did her birthday over there. And it was so crazy that me and Jay could not fall asleep, right? So he was like, babe, you want to go for a drive? And I kid you not, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:24, something like that, almost 4 o'clock. And I was like, do we really have to? I have work tomorrow. And I still have to study. And he's like, I can't sleep. So you want to go for a drive with me? And I could not sleep either, but I just wanted to stay in bed and, you know, look at my phone till I fall asleep. But he's not like that. So he was like, let's go. And I was like, okay, let me go use the restroom first. And I'll drop down the photo for you guys so you guys can see what we
Mhm.
saw.
Just insert
So
the clip like now, like what's right here. Yeah. But continue.
so I went to go pee and he sent me a photo. He was like, look at this shit. And I was like, what? And he sent me a photo and it was baby footprints on the size of my palm. Okay, kid you not, I came home from work the following night before at 7 o'clock, and we haven't left the house at 7. And I know that it was like raining a little bit throughout that day. So I understand that like if we went outside and we, you know, oh my gosh, I can't talk. I understand we went outside and we like came home with wet feet or something like that. But we've been in the house, we haven't left for X amount of hours. And her calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning, there was no way that there was fresh, wet baby footprint by my door. That was so creepy. That wasn't the only thing that I experienced living here. There was a few weeks ago, Jake, he has a habit of leaving the house keys and the gate keys in his car. And so in the morning, he was like, babe, I'm going to go to work. Make sure you lock the door because my keys are in the car. So I was like, oh, okay. So I went to go shower because I was already up anyway. So I went to go shower. I
hmm
went to go shower. And all of a sudden, I hear like this bang. And I'm like, and I'm like, honey. Jake, is that you? There was no answer, right? And I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, did I lock the door? I'm pretty sure I locked the door. Did I not lock the door? I was doubting myself. I was questioning myself.
Mhm.
And I jumped out of the shower so quick, girl. I didn't even wash my body yet. I just got in there. And so I come out here and I'm like looking around. I have this like magnet on my fridge that holds like all these markers and stuff. The magnet is really strong. Like you have to actually yank it off for it to come off, or slide it off for it to come off. It doesn't just like come off, right? That jar that was full of marker was all over the floor. And it happened to me twice. So then when I told Jake about it, he was like, "Oh my gosh, that happened to me too." And it only happened when we were home alone by ourselves. So it never happened when we were together or anything like that. It was always when we were by ourselves. And it was so creepy because it like there was no way. So I put tape around the magnet and the jar to keep it from falling because I thought maybe it's just the magnet or something that's not
Mhm.
strong, right? It still fell with the tape.
Which is
That was so
which
huh?
that is low key pretty scary though because like you already tested it out too and you already showed me. So it's like there is no possible way for it to fall down like that. I mean, for it to happen 3 times, because it happened to me twice and it happened to Jake. So there is no way that it's like all of a sudden just dropping down to the ground like the magnet wasn't strong enough.
Yeah, I always get the sense that something is watching me when I'm sleeping sometimes. Because when you're standing here and there's someone that's like a mile away and you can just sense that they're looking at you and you kind of look at them.
Hmm.
It's kind of that feeling when I sleep at night.
Yeah. Which I mean, because it is a new place and like you've been keeping me up to date with what's been happening at the house since you guys moved into. So to me, it kind of like ties everything together. That's pretty scary overall in general, and let's just hope it doesn't get worse. I mean, what more can it do?
Hmm.
I mean, so you're at home alone right now, right?
Hmm.
Do you feel scared?
No, I don't.
Mm,
Because I think I told you this. Me and Jake are the type of people that when like something spooky or creepy happens, we just brush it off. Like oh, okay.
yeah.
Like we don't let it get to us.
How was it? How's your food?
It's so good because Jake cooks it, and
Mhm.
he's Indian, so he makes it really good, and
Yeah.
he knows like the right stuff to buy and stuff.
Mhm. Well,
When
next
I first
time.
met him, he was eating finger food with his fingers. I was like, ugh. But now I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, it's no big deal. No big deal.
Wait, you don't like eating food with your fingers?
Mm-mm. It's like a thing. I always do this. Like, ugh.
Oh.
Yeah, I tend to do that a lot.
You have to try fufu and egusi soup.
Oh yeah, I saw. Have you
Mhm.
tried it before?
Mhm.
Is it good?
Mhm. Me and Zoo, we always get it. It's
Really?
really good. It like fulfills a craving because it's like spicy, but also like really good at the same time too. And then the fufu is like it's good. I like it.
What's the scariest thing that you've experienced?
Mm, okay. Well, I can't really say
Mhm.
experience because technically I didn't really get to experience anything. It was
Mhm.
all more of like dreams. And
Mhm.
as monk people, like we're really into those dreams and really into like the spiritual shit.
Mhm.
So to experience something I have never did. I've never experienced anything crazy like physically, like it physically being there or physically being spooked out like that. Um, but I would say when you ask that question, it makes me think about my dreams. So I can only
Mhm.
say I have dreams that were were really scary, spooked me out. Like it literally spooked me out of my room for 3 days straight because I was just
Mhm.
so scared to be in there. I was so scared to sleep. I just could not, you know. And that was all uh, at mom's house when after you left. Most of my scary dreams I've had were after you left. I don't think I had any when you were living there with us, but um,
I think it's like a mentally a strong person.
mhm, mhm,
They have like a strong energy they don't really get to.
yeah. I like to think that I'm a pretty strong person too, but I feel like I'm a strong person, a strong-minded person when I'm awake and conscious. But I feel like when I'm sleeping is when I'm at my weakest, where like they can get me, you know,
Mhm.
because I'm still
I
a
You're
sensitive
still
person.
like dealing, yeah, you're still dealing with a lot of things. You still haven't really figured out
Mhm.
what to do. So
Yeah.
that's yeah. Because you guys always get sleep paralysis. You and the boys always get sleep paralysis, but I never get sleep
Mhm.
paralysis.
Uh huh.
I never had bad dreams to the point where I wake up like freaking out.
Mhm.
Nothing has never really bothered me.
Mm.
And I make jokes about it all the time. Because you remember when AB was making jokes about, oh, like I could fuck a ghost right now, and the
Uh huh.
ghost follow him. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I make jokes about it all the time. Nothing ever happens. But going back to your dream, what happened?
I mean, um, it wasn't like the dream wasn't fully completely scary. I just remembered like we moved to a new house. There was so it was like a very big house and with a very big yard. And then behind that yard or behind the house is like this shed, but it was renovated to be into a guest bedroom. So it was like a detached guest house. Like some houses have that nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like so fascinated by it. I was like, wow, I love the way this looks. I love it that like I get to have my own space.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I call dibs. Like I'm calling this area. Like I'm not gonna be in the house with you guys. And that night I was unpacking and I heard this knocking at the door and I'm just like, okay, well maybe it's just mom telling me that I need to come eat or whatever. You know, So I
Mm-hmm.
opened it, and there was this Asian lady who had very long hair, and she was just kind of just like staring down at the ground or like by our feet. And I don't remember what she was wearing, and I couldn't really see her face. It was kind of just like a black shadow over the face, so like you can't see what that person looks like at all. But you can tell it was giving Asian, like she was Asian, like I knew that about her. And she was wearing a tan cardigan and she would just stare on the ground and she kept speaking to me in Hmong and she was like, can you help me, can you help me, can you come
Oh,
out here and
staring down
help
like
me?
this, you can see her face.
Yeah, it was just like that. And then like how in animes and in cartoons like, oh, when you're so ashamed, like there's a shadow that they draw over your face. It was
Oh
giving
yeah.
very much that. Yeah. Yeah, it was giving very much that. So like and it was also dark outside too, so it's like, okay, like I can't really see much of her or a clear view of what she looks like. But she was asking for my help and asking if I could come out there and help her. And I was just like, I don't know you, so let me ask my mom first. And like we're very cultural people. We're very like skeptical people. So it's like, no, like let me ask my mom first and obviously my shed bedroom was detached. So I decided to just close the door on her, lock the doors, sleep it off. And then the next day, I went into the big main house to go hang out with my younger sister. And
Mhm.
her bedroom is kind of just like a porch patio where like there's like windows all around the room. So,
Mhm.
and it was like in the front of the house. So, I'm sitting at the ledge by the window and I turn to look out the window and I just see a lady, that same lady standing there. And she's not like looking up at me or anything like that. She's just still just standing there looking down like this. Right? I felt like at that moment it was like a reminder to be like, oh yeah, this lady needed my help. But I didn't do anything. I just told her like, okay, whatever, like she's probably eventually gonna stop asking for my help. And in that time frame, in my dream, I didn't think anything bad of it. It seemed like a well dream, and I just thought that maybe a neighbor of ours needed help or something. And later towards the night, my little sister was like telling me how she's gonna go hang out with her dad, and she was about to leave. So I looked out the window again in her room, and I realized that that lady was still standing there. And by this time already, it was like dark. It was like 10 o'clock at night. It was already really dark, and I freaked out. So I told my mom, and I was like, Mom, like there is this lady outside, and I forgot to tell you this, but she was like knocking at my door last night at like freaking 12 in the morning and was asking me to help her. And it's really scary now and weird because she's been standing there all day, the same exact spot, and every time I look out the window, she was there. And so, um, my mom was like, "Oh, well, as long as you didn't tell her like that you would be willing to help her because we don't know what the situation is yet." So she was like, she was already getting a bad vibe from it. I can tell because in my dream, the face she gave me and the concern that it was. So she was like, in our culture, she was like, bring two chickens and prepare our two black dogs. And if you are you know the meaning behind those things. And my aunt is a person who she's a shaman, she wanings. So she opens the door. Or no, she didn't open the door. But we went down to the living room area where it was like all windows, and you could see her like literally standing right in front of the window outside. And so we're
Mhm.
like, so my mom is like, you better leave the house right now. And just a moment, I felt like mom looked at her. Mom already knew something was up. So mom was like, get out of our property, like leave immediately right now. Like you are not gonna like bother us at all. And my mom was like, take these chicken and leave. Like you can't take anything but take these chickens and be on your way. And she was like, and if you don't, I will release the two black dogs. And the lady literally was screaming on the top of her lungs at us through the window. And that's when I woke up, and that's when I started panicking, and I was like genuinely so scared because it was like her scream felt so real, and I felt like I actually heard that in real life. And
Mhm.
it spooked me so bad that I went to my mom and I was crying, and she was like, as long as you didn't like tell her that you would help her and you would go with her. So it's okay. But go to sleep. We'll tie your string tomorrow. We'll talk more about it tomorrow morning when the sun is up. But that dream and her scream, like literally traumatized me and scared me so bad. I was so scared. I did not sleep in my room for 3 days. And the only time I would go in my room is to like grab clothes, and that was it.
So there's a saying, right,
Hmm.
that the the clearer and closer you hear Badag's voice, further they're actually away. But the further that they are, the closer they are. The further you hear it, the closer they're actually to you.
You just gave
Mhm.
me chills.
Yeah.
No, that's really scary though. Like I
Yeah.
feel that.
So
Have you ever like where'd you hear that from?
Mongol story on Facebook.
Oh,
Yo, they be telling some like scary ass stories on there.
yeah. No,
They're
there's
so chilling.
I don't look on those ones because sometimes like at late night on Facebook, like I scroll and I don't want to see that like while I'm like my mid session in the bathroom, or like I'm just chilling in the living room by myself. Like I do not want to see that. I learned my lesson from them because you know how they used to like post like scary photos or like animated photos and stuff like that. It would spook me every time, so I literally had to unfollow that page and stop looking at scary things on my social medias. And
Really?
I only look at it on YouTube.
Yeah, I do that now too because they used to spook me so much. But yeah, so
Hmm.
I heard that from them. Um, there's this one story that I remember reading off of there. The thing about scary stories, I love scary stories. I love scary stories. I love horror movies, not the American ones.
Mhm.
Don't get it twisted, okay? Like the American Horror Story, but the Asian horror stories got it locked down, okay?
Yeah.
They got that shit, you know. So I remember reading this one story, right, where there's this like family who lives with the grandma, right? And that's very common in our culture, you know. We stay living with our grandparents and all that stuff. So the grandma would always lecture like the grandkids and the kids to help out clean and wash the dishes, right? And they'll be like, and you know, grandmas they go to bed early, right? So she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to bed. Make sure you guys do the dishes before you guys go to sleep. And they never do the dishes, so of course she didn't expect them to do it, right? So she went to bed. She woke up, and the dishes are all done. So she was like, wow,
They
wow.
actually did it this time.
Yeah, I was like, I am shocked. I don't know. Have you heard this story?
But continue. Tell the audience because that's pretty scary.
Really? So yeah, so she was like, okay, well, she decided not to do the dishes that day at night, right? Because she's telling the kids to do it again because obviously someone's doing it, right? So she went back to bed and woke up the next day and the dishes are done. And she's like, who's doing the dishes? Who did the dishes? And they were like, I didn't do it. No one did it. And she's like, okay, so if no one did it, then who's been doing the dishes, right? So later on that night, she stayed up. She was in her room, but she stayed up and waited for everyone to go to sleep, right? And like a few hours later, she hears like the dishes clink, 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 right? And so she creeps open and she peeks out and she saw a ghost licking the dishes plate. Oh my gosh. And then ever since then, she makes like at least one of the grandkids wash the dishes at night. That is so creepy.
Yeah.
And could you imagine like knowing that you live by yourself and you didn't do the dishes and you wake up the next morning, the dishes are done. You're like, did I do the dishes? And you're eating off of like ghost spit.
Mm.
That is so creepy.
Literally, okay, so I heard that story like a while ago when we were still like in high school. And
Yeah, I
so
did
it
too.
it literally spooked me so bad to the point where like I try my best to not complain and not be like, why didn't you wash the dishes? Go wash the dishes. Or like I try my hardest not to complain about household chores and things like that because I
Yeah.
feel like things like that
Like,
really would happen, you know?
mhm.
And I'm not trying to feel that energy, you know? I'm gonna avoid that at
Yeah,
all.
bro. Another story that really spooked me. This one really stuck to me. Oh, let me tell you about the scary time too. I think you were there. We went camping, remember? Let me
Oh,
tell you about the story first before I go to the story that I heard from my
mm-hmm,
cousins. So I actually heard this story that I was going to tell you during that campsite.
mm-hmm,
So this is so funny. So we used to live with my aunt and them, and they have a lot of kids, right? Like around our age. And we wanted to go camping, but of course, with so many kids, we thought it was just too much of a hassle. And during this time, I was like a freshman in high school, so we were young.
mm-hmm.
So what we did was we our older cousins, they're so funny. They're like, pack your bags, we're gonna go camping. We packed all the tents, the sleeping bags. We packed all this shit in like two to 1 day in advance, right? Because they told us like a few days advance. And so we're like, we're so excited. We were ready. We packed all the foods in the cooler. We packed like woods and all that stuff. Got in the car, drove around the block just to park right in front of the house again. She's like, we're here. We're here. We're gonna go camp in the backyard, which makes sense because we had a really, really big backyard.
Yeah.
And so we're like, what the heck? But it was a good idea though. So we set up the camps in the backyard, and you know we were doing our own thing. Like the older cousins, they had like a bunch of games for us to play. Like we had like scavenger hunt where we would look for certain items, and whoever found them first won prizes. And of course, we ate outside, and we would go use the bathroom inside. You know, so that was the only thing that I was okay with. But a lot of people kept staying inside and going in and out because we're at home.
Yeah.
But there was a night where there was a night because there was a night where we stayed up. We got done cooking. We had a fire bond going, and we were telling scary stories, right? And I'm gonna actually tell you guys the story that I was gonna tell you guys right now because it kind of plays into it, right? So, do you remember Delane? she's one of our older cousins, and when she got married, right? I think she was having her first kid. I don't know if you heard the story or if you remember it. She had her first kid, and she's newly married into the family. And babies in the middle of the night, they wake up and they cry. You go feed them, right? And she wasn't breastfeeding, so she had breast milk, and she would go upstairs to go microwave it, right? So there was one particular night where she went upstairs to the kitchen, and she's living with her in-laws. She went upstairs to the kitchen to go heat up breast milk or baby milk, right? And she just sees a head right on top of the fridge up here, just looking down at her, like smiling, creepy, like,
Mhm.
and it spooked her so much. And I actually don't remember exactly what she did, but she went back downstairs and then like fed the baby and went to bed. And then the next day I think she told her family, right? Her
Mhm.
in-laws. And her in-laws were like, "Oh, those are probably just our ancestors coming to see who the new incomer, the new newcomer is.
Mhm.
You just married the family. They want to see who their daughter-in-law is."
Yeah.
I would have divorced her. I would be like, nah, bye.
Mhm.
That was so creepy. So later on that night, right? And during the time where we went camping was kind of like the transition from spring to summer. So it was really hot, but we had like a few rainy days, a few misty days, right? So we were laying in the tent, and it was like, we were sleeping in the tent, and I'm assuming it's been quite some time now because I didn't have an alarm. I didn't have a clock with me. We were camping. I didn't have any of that. And all of a sudden, I slept all the way to the end. It's like it was me and then someone else, someone else, someone else, someone else. I don't remember the exact order that we all slept in, but I slept on the edge of the tent, right? And so after hearing all these stories and all that stuff, it really spooked me out, and I had a hard time sleeping that night. So it was like a few hours later, I feel something drip on my face, and I'm like, oh, it woke me up because it was ice cold, and is water drip, like something's dripping my face. Water's
Mhm.
dripping my face. Something's dripping on my face. Something. And I was like, oh my God, it's a ghost. It's a ghost. I'm about to die. We're gonna die. I'm probably like, I'm probably not here. It's probably my spirit. My spirit wander off somewhere. And I was like, okay, let me turn this way. And it dripped on me again, but it dripped on me twice. I was like, oh my God. And I turned this way. I put that blanket over my head. I was like, oh my God. And it kept dripping on me. And I was like, okay, I have to muster up this courage to peek. I was so scared. I had the blanket over my head. I was like, and it kept dripping on me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to peek. And I was so scared because every time I turned, it just kept dripping on me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to, otherwise I'm gonna die. And if I'm gonna die, I better get to see what that motherfucker looked like because I've never seen a ghost. So if I'm gonna die, I should at least get to see that and like check that, the bucket list or whatever. So I peed, and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh, what the hell? And I'm looking around, I was like, oh, what the hell? And something dripped on me again. And guess what it was? The condensation on the tent.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that was definitely really scary. So if you want to ask, did I ever experience anything scary? Okay, I guess that was my scary experience. But it wasn't like ghost related. It was just my mind like being
Yeah.
paranoid.
You know, um, Zeus family, we go camping a lot, and
Uh-huh.
that is literally how I feel like every single time we go camping. Like, trust me, okay? I love camping. I love being that outdoorsy person with them. I just love it. It's like great fun. It's time to like get away from reality, away from the world. But the nighttime is the one thing that I hate the most of camping because it's like one, there's that, and two, you know, I'm usually like one of the later ones to go to bed because we're like having s'mores and we're taking a couple of sips and just chilling by the fire. And so,
Hmm.
in my tent, I'm usually the last one to go into the tent. And us girls we sleep separately compared to the boys. So like I'm usually the last girl to go to bed, and I always get very paranoid about whatever is going on in my surroundings. And I am like, like, Oh my god, I'm sorry, my word is so choppy. But okay, so
I don't know how people do this
do
for
what?
mukbang and talk at the same
I
time.
know, I know. I'm like dying over here because my noodles are so spicy, and I'm trying to like talk at the same time. But yeah, so they say that when you are like in a more foresty area, you're more prone to like see things and witness things and all that stuff. But when you're like in the cities, there's like a lower chance because there's lights all around. People are always up at all times.
Hmm.
So like ever since I found that out, I've always been spooked to go camping, but I always go camping anyways. I had to build that courage. But normally I sleep next to Zoo's sister, and she sleeps with a blanket over her head. So all day and every time I go to bed, like she's always like blanket over her head. And so like
Hmm.
I'm laying there trying to build up the courage to like go to sleep, and I had to tell myself it's time to go to bed. Like don't worry about it. Most of the times, and I'm not Christian, but most of the time when we go camping, and it's like 12,
Got you playing.
yeah, 12 in the morning, I am like praying because I'm like I'm so scared. Like I hope nothing bad happens, and like you know, and because in the forest, like you hear so many noises that you don't hear in the city.
Hmm.
And
Now you hear like twigs breaking and stuff. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and like there are animal noises that you don't hear in the freaking city. And there's these birds that sound like they're laughing. Yeah, and it spooks me. And I mean, I think I know what a turkey sounds like, but one time we were camping in Whitewater with me, Zoo, and Zoo's sister, and her husband. And me and Zoo are sleeping in a tent together, and it's like nighttime, and it's not even like it's like that like 1-2 a.m. where it's like the sun's gonna come up soon.
Mhm.
And I hear this noise like right there, like right outside of my
Mimic
tent.
it.
Huh?
Mimic it.
No,
What did it sound
no, I can't. I can't mimic it.
like?
I can't mimic it.
Like, 'cause I know in the morning some of the birds do tweet, 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 tweet.
No, it's not like that. It was straight up like a weird noise that I've never heard before. And I nudged Zoo, and I'm like, babe, did you hear that? Like, did you hear that noise? And he was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, what do you think it is? And he was like, he literally, he was like, that's a fucking turkey. That's what I think, like gobble, gobble, gobble. Yeah, but I always tend to so scared too when it comes to camping. I get too paranoid. I overthink a lot when it comes to that type of stuff. And sometimes those animals do really be making weird noises. Yeah.
I don't know if I saw this in a movie or they told this at the campsite,
Hmm.
but here's the thing about camping. Four friends
Hmm.
go camping. You know what I'm talking about, huh?
Yeah, yeah. But go
Four
ahead. Yeah.
friends go camping, and they made a joke the first night that if one of us dies, I'm taking the one and sleeping in the middle. And they're like, okay, okay, okay. So the next day they go rafting, right? They go rafting and the boat tips over and they get separated, right? They get separated a little bit and you know, and all the rafts, like people usually end up in the same spot when they fall off of a boat and stuff. So they were able to pull each other up, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're missing one person." And so they start searching for him, calling for him, and he doesn't answer, right? And so as they're going back towards the tent, they see that he died. They either found him down the street or near the tent because they were going back to the tent,
Hmm.
and they found that he was dead. But they remember the joke that he made that if he dies, he's gonna come back and take the person in the middle. So they're like, you sleep in the middle, you sleep in the middle, you sleep in the middle. So they came to the conclusion to sleep like a triangle, literally like a triangle like this. And I don't know what happens after that.
I don't know either, but I've heard that story before though, but I forgot how it ended.
Yeah, so I think some of them had to go pee,
Mm.
and some of them had to go pee, but they were so scared to go pee by themselves and all that stuff. So they'll ask like someone else to go with them, and they're like, "No, I don't want to go. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared," and all that stuff. But then eventually he's like, "Okay, fuck it. Like I can't hold it anymore. I have to go pee." He'll go pee and find that it wasn't the other guy that died. It was the other one of the other guys that is in the tent right now. So he gets
Mm.
so creeped out, right? It was like I think it was like a Thai movie that I was watching. I think it's like one of the 3 a.m.
Mhm. Mhm. It
And
sounds like
so
a
he
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
so he's like, "Oh my gosh, that person is not a ghost. That person that was sleeping in the tent right now is a ghost." Because he finds his dead body. And
Oh.
then he's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna run away, I'm gonna run away. So he starts running, right? And the other two guys in the tent's like, oh, what's taking him so long? I wonder if he's okay. So they peeked out there and they see the friend. So I'm gonna say friend A, friend B, friend C, friend D, okay? So friend A was the first one that was dead by the stream, right? Um friend B, I forgot what I forgot what I named them. Did I name them person or friend? So friend B is the one that had to go use the bathroom and saw that friend C passed away, right? So he got scared and he ran. And so friend C and D were like, "Oh, this guy's taking too long. Like, should we go check up on him?" And they open the zipper and they see friend A running at them. And it's like, you guys, I'm not a ghost, I'm not a ghost. Because they're like, "Oh my god, it's a ghost." He's like, "I'm not a ghost, I'm not a ghost. I'm not a ghost. You guys have to come here. Look." And they bring them to go look at friend B's body that was on the street. And they're like, what? This whole entire time, friend B was the one that was died and you didn't die? And he's like, yeah, I didn't die. Like, I'm still here and all that stuff. I forgot how it plays out, but they each eventually kind of like finds out that they're dead. And at the end, they all died. They didn't
Oh.
realize that they,
Mm.
and it was their ghost, like, not realizing it and they were freaking out and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I've
it's kind of leading
actually
to you, like, who do you think is dead? Like, oh, are you dead and all that stuff?
yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually heard stories like that before. Where it's pretty scary of like like the dead not
Uh-huh.
realizing that they're dead and they get
Uh-huh.
genuinely confused and frustrated. I've heard that that's pretty scary.
It was kind of like Pima, huh? Because they didn't know who was the one that was
Yeah,
dead.
yeah. So it was kind of just like those Hmong movies where it's kind of like Panda and Pancake, where it's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
it's scary, but like they're joking around so much that like it's not really
Mhm.
scary. It's like a funny scary movie, but when they
But the
get
idea
scary,
is really scary, though.
you know,
Like having that fear. When you say something, you get a little scared, you get a little spooked
hmm
out.
that's why I always knock on wood because I'm like,
Where did the knock on wood theory come from? Because you know what I heard?
mm.
That knocking on the wall is like knocking on a ghost door.
That's why I don't knock on the wall.
Isn't it wood though?
I mean, honestly, I don't know where it came from. I just felt like I, I like, I don't even know who told me that. I swear to God, someone probably was just like, "Oh, knock on wood," and then I just been doing that since. I guess I don't know. I don't know where it came
Hmm.
from. But every time I say something that I don't mean, especially when it comes to spooky things, I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, knock on wood, bro. You don't want that shit to come real." But if anybody knows where that came from, please comment down below because I don't know where that came from either.
Yeah, I don't either. You remember? So I never got sleep paralysis, right?
Mhm.
But Angelo does a lot.
Mhm.
And Nathai passed away like a few years back. And this one time he said he got sat on and he saw Nathai's face just like looking down at him, like creepily
Mhm.
smiling. Oh my gosh. Thank God I don't experience those things, but I'm a joke like I always do. I want to experience it one time. Just kidding, knock on wood.
No, because I tried. Like I get scared, dude. I literally like, cause I think a lot, so I've been thinking like, dude, if one day mom dies, she better not come to me. She better not come to me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
like
scared.
yeah, because we have no way of contacting her.
Mhm.
They don't have our information and stuff, so it would be hard to get a hold of us. And imagine mom's only way of getting a hold of us is through our dreams as ghosts. Woo!
Yeah, and like imagine like her searching for us. Oh yes,
For real, like looking through windows, like God,
Christmas.
God,
Ah!
oh my gosh. Not only that, because mom be doing what she do, she's not gonna look like herself.
I know, I
No, I
know.
know. Because her
Ooh.
spirit probably looks really, really bad.
Yeah, that's what Emily said too.
Yeah.
Girl,
You
don't be
can
saying that.
already
Don't be saying that, cause you see my bed right here,
that
and
right
you
there.
see a
You
big ass
see
window right here. Don't say that. Ooh.
yeah, and I'm getting a little spooked out right now too. And sometimes in the middle of the night when our AC turns on, the door that has the water heater, it bangs a lot, right?
Oh
And I
yeah.
know that. I know that. But sometimes when it still happens, it freaks me out. Like it gives me a little jump scare, like, ooh. But then, again, like me, like I said earlier, me and Jake are the type of people we just it spooks us for like what, maybe 2-3 minutes,
Uh-huh.
5 minutes time, and we just get over it. We're like, okay, brush it off. But yeah, the idea of it. Oh my god! Do you remember that one time where we were living at the boss house and you and I shared Simi's and Ashley, Alicia's room?
Uh-huh.
That one time with the twin size bed. So picture this is the room, right?
Uh-huh.
This is the door, this is the closet, this is the window, and the beds were like this.
Mhm.
They're like this, right? They're twin size bed. And you slept on this one, and I slept on the one right next to the window. And do you remember this one time there was a knock on the window, and all you hear is God, God. God is my moaning.
Oh
Remember, know that. You went,
yes.
and mom was just like knocking on the window. She was like, God, God, God. And I woke up and I'm like, oh no. I was so scared that I threw the teddy bear at you to wake you up, right? Or did you wake from the knock too?
No, I didn't. I didn't wake up from the knock.
It was me throwing the teddy bear at you, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so okay, something like that. I threw the teddy bear at her, and I was like, Chrissy, do you hear that? She's like, no. And then I, like, again, if I'm gonna die, I gotta see the face. So I must have the courage to like open the blinds because the blinds is no, it wasn't blinds. It was
Curtain.
sheet.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like
it
a
was a
pillowcase.
curtain. It was like a sheet,
Mhm.
and I would like lift it up like this just to peek in there, and then there was no one, and I was like, oh, nobody. And then I were you still awake?
I don't know. I think I must have went back to sleep.
Cause I heard it again. I was like, God, God, and I was like, did you hear that? And you're like, I think you're like, yeah, I think you heard it that time, but I'm not sure. How do you remember?
I don't remember. I only remembered a little snippets of it. That's why I was like, I must have been like down the or something because I wasn't fully awake. I think.
Yeah, I think so. But it scared me. And so I'm like, what the hell? So I peeked out there again, no one. And all of a sudden I looked through the door and we slept with our door open and the window in the living room is not covered, right? So you see the light of the moon and you see the street lights, right? The light was peeking into the hallway, right? Can you imagine it?
Mhm.
So the light was coming into the hallway and all you see is like this like white light with like it's nighttime but you still see the white light
Mhm.
and all of a sudden I see a hand do this. I'm gonna try to like a little and I was like and I think you saw it too or actually maybe you didn't because if you did you would have saw who was coming in.
Mhm. Because I was all the way by the wall, by the door.
Yeah, you were all the way by the door, and I think you were sleeping because I don't think you saw who it was. But it was the pa who was like, God, your mom's outside. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And that's just reminding me from the story that we were just saying that like if
Mhm.
mom ever passed away, she comes into our dream and
Yeah.
you hear that, oh Oh,
Yeah,
girl.
yeah, literally. Like you just
Oh
saying
my
that
god.
is already very much like how she's gonna be like, and that's scary. That's too scary. Can't think of it.
Yeah, because she doesn't know how to call us. I feel like if mom was to come into our dream and she called us and was like, "Hey, meet up with me," and then like tell us like, "Hey, I need you to like do this and do that," I
Mhm.
get it. But you know, with mom being mom, she doesn't know how to contact us. She doesn't know like how to get into the house. So she doesn't have the key to the house. So she'll
Mhm.
like be knocking at the doors. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I sleep with a big ass window right next to me. Oh
I
my gosh.
know. Literally.
But then again, I'm gonna be spooked out right now, but I'm just gonna brush it off.
Okay.
How's your noodle? Dude, I have
Oh,
cake, but I'm not even feeling it no more.
yeah, me either. Like my food is spicy and it's tangy and all
You
that
can't eat
stuff.
it. Did you put too much spice in there?
I mean, when you make your spicy Korean noodles, do you use the whole pack?
No, never.
I
Do
always
you
do.
use the whole pack?
Mhm. But I always do because if I don't, I feel like the noodles are kind of dry.
You don't put like mayo. You don't put cream cheese or like anything in there?
I only put like heavy whipping cream in there if I want it to be rosé. If I don't want it to be rosé, then I don't do it. Girl,
So you're
you're not getting the full experience if you don't put the whole thing in there.
girl, I have, but I can't handle it. That's why I never do it.
If I only put a
I
little
don't
bit,
use butter.
oh yeah, yeah, with that's good too. But I only put a little bit if I'm trying to save the sauce aside for something else. But because we've been buying the whole entire little jar of it,
Uh-huh.
we don't really do that anymore. We just eat it all.
Me and Jake bought the mango habanero from
Mhm.
B-Dub, and it's so spicy. It's so good. You can really taste the mango, but it's still really, really spicy.
Mhm. You know, it's actually been a long time since I've eaten B Dubs.
Really?
Mhm. I would say Bonchon is my number one chicken place. And if I
Bonchon.
yeah, and if I don't freaking order chicken out, I just make chicken at home. We literally get chicken all the time when we grocery shop.
Really? Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I like chicken too. Right now, my go-to restaurant right now, I want to just say me and Jake, but we
Mhm.
have different go-to restaurants because we've been cooking a lot at home.
Mhm.
But the one thing that I'm craving so badly right now is I want some ramen, but not ramen at home, you know? The gourmet ramens.
Mhm. Do you guys have those kind of restaurants there?
We only have one
Mm.
from where I'm at. But if you want to count like a Chichoan then I think we only have two. We have like a Korean barbecue slash hot pot place here, but we don't go to it a lot because it's like so expensive.
Mm.
Mhm.
No, me and Zoo's go-to ramen place is Ichido Ramen. I don't know if you tried it when you were up here, but
No.
it's literally ramen like from Naruto.
Oh, you know what? I have had it before.
Mhm.
Something similar to it.
Mhm.
Back in St. Paul.
Mm. Yeah.
Hmm. What's some what other scary story do you have?
Um, me and Zoo's favorite places right now is just Korean hot pot.
Bitch, I said, what is
Sorry.
your
No, no, it's not like that. It's
no,
not
I
like
said,
that.
what other scary stories do you have?
Oh, I thought you said what were our favorite stores. But I thought when you were like, bitch, I thought you were like, man, you saying that, and I literally just said that we were like, it was too expensive for us over here, and I was like, wait, it's not like that, it's not like that. But yeah. So scary stories. Hmm.
Dude, I feel like we have so many, but
Hmm.
like we don't really like think about it. How
Yeah.
was your
No.
experience cooking with butter?
Oh. I didn't personally witness a lot of the hauntings just on my end. I probably had like one bad dream that spooked me, but other than that,
Didn't you
nothing
guys
was
like have a
really.
little girl?
Huh?
Didn't you guys? You want to know something?
Hmm?
Is it the apartment that I came to stay there with you for a bit?
Yes, dude. You want to know what? Probably because CJ used to always sleep over, and he would sleep in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time where it was like he kept hearing like tappings, like that.
Girl, I can hear it. But yeah, go
Uh,
on.
so he was hearing it like a tapping up on the ceiling, and every time he would be like, "Stop, leave me alone." It'll stop, and then a little bit after, it'll go tapping again. So boom, boom, boom. It scared him to the point where he knocked on our door. He was like, "Can I sleep with you guys?" So we're like, "Oh, why? What's going on?" He told us what happened, and we're like, oh, "Okay, that's fine." So we tell the I don't know the put. So there probably was a bitch staring at you.
I never heard anything when I was staying there, and I stayed there for quite some time.
Yeah. So you didn't witness anything in the extra room or in the living room?
I didn't witness anything in the living room. I stayed in um Serena's room for like a week
Mm-hmm.
after she moved out. No, I never experienced anything.
Hmm.
Yeah. But the house was creepy though, okay? It
Yeah.
was.
Were you ever in the house alone by yourself, like when we were gone and stuff?
I don't know, because during that time, I don't think you guys were working. You guys were working. Um, no, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Because I think Serena was always either home
No, by the time you came, she was like,
in the process of moving out.
yeah. And then after you came back again was when she was already gone. Yeah. I mean, my experience living there, it wasn't too scary. I mean, like I said, it was a lot of them experiencing it and me just overhearing it. And when we talked to the shaman guy, he
Mm-hmm.
was very much like, yeah, it doesn't go to your room a lot. Cause you know how our room was like a one, two, three, like one after another, right?
Right.
And the bathroom is right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my room was this one, right?
Right.
He literally said that it travels along that whole line stretch of your rooms. And he was like, he mainly hides in Butter's room, which is the middle room, and it mainly hides in that area right in front of her door, like inside her room, but in front of the door. And
Uh-huh.
that whole stretch, that lady, that ghost, whatever, would constantly travel there through Serena's room and her room, and then in my room, they they just didn't really get the chance to go in there. And you know, my whole time living with Butter's always been like, every time I talk to you about these scary things, there's always that white aura around you. And I always tell her, hey, that's my grandma. But I don't know. I don't know. I strongly feel like, okay, maybe that is grandma like watching over us or grandpa watching
Uh-huh.
over us. Um,
Right.
or it's just my own like, strength. So I don't think nothing too much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard anything. Could you just imagine like a little girl just crawling back and forth like this on your hallway? Gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. That I can't imagine
Bitch.
that. But that's scary though. Like
Mm-hmm.
they have always said that like there is somebody there protecting me and the ghost can't reach me, you know?
Mhm.
So I feel like that is why they picked on Butter and Serena majority of the time. But it was mainly Butter. Like Serena probably had like 2 to 3 experiences, but other than that, it wasn't like how Butter was experiencing. Because Butter was experiencing like the whole entire time. Like 1 month into moving in, she was already like experiencing things. But yeah,
You guys don't like walk around the house first and feel like the energy before you guys rent it or
we
decide on
did,
it?
we did, but then
We
like
did. Like
we were just
we
such in a
were
rush to like move out of all of our parents' house that like we didn't
Mhm.
really put it into consideration at all. But after that, and me and Butter, we move into our next house, we both realized that okay, yo, we need to take this shit seriously and actually like walk around the house. So literally every showing we went to
when we went
after we would sit in the car and we would like debrief and be like, yo, this house low key gave me spooky vibes or things like that. Yeah.
can you sense that?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Zoo's sister about it too, and
Uh-huh.
she was like every time like you walk around to your like the rooms or the house that you're looking at, if you even get the slightest little feeling of like, oh, like somebody's like behind me or somebody's like watching me or somebody's here with me, because she recommends you to go walk around the house by yourself. So you guys both go your own ways to like walk around. And she was like, if you get that feeling, like
And,
it's
like,
probably not a great choice. Because she was like,
really?
yeah, because she told us that one time somebody was doing that. I forgot who it was. And they found out later on that the basement had a old lady who was haunting the basement.
Really?
Hmm.
I mean, when me and Jake first bought this house too, we were in such a rush, we had never even toured it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, when I first walked in here, I mean, it was I didn't feel any.
Yeah, like it's hard to get like you. I feel like you kind of get misleaded because it's like there's like it's so bright in here, it's spacious, it's so
Yeah.
nice. But I feel like yeah, like that's how we felt like at the Queen House too. But it was like slightly after was when you would start to get a little bit more eerie vibes, especially in that hallway that connects to the bathroom.
Oh, are you talking about my hallway?
Yeah. No, at my old house. Yeah. Like,
Oh.
girl, when me and Zoo toured this house right now, like, yeah, it was like, wow, like it's so bright. I love the color. It's nice.
Mhm.
It's a lot of space for us. And but now, like, living in it, this is my second year living here, and it definitely gives off airy vibes sometimes. Like sometimes, um,
Oh, you got the bad juju.
I know. Like I
Oh, the
talked
bad
to.
energy I'll be creating in that house.
I know. I need to cleanse this fucking house because get all this negative energy out of here. Yeah, but I mean, I feel like something is you know, I feel like something is still with me, not gonna lie. Um, because sometimes I do get eerie feelings. Gamong, Handsome, when they come sleep here, they do be like, Gamong gets sleep paralysis here a lot. Handsome had a couple of eerie like times, and then I remember Emily was sleep talking that one time too, so everybody was kind of spooked out. Yeah, but I haven't felt
Yeah,
anything so
I'm the only one that slept normally there. Babe, you and I are the only one that slept normally there. Slept like a
far.
baby, slept through the night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh my
mean,
god.
so when Jake was having those bad dreams, were you having bad dreams?
Yeah, I was. And here's the funny thing, right? Like, I never get bad dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I almost never get bad dreams.
Yeah.
So and it wasn't even like a kind of bad dream, you know. It was just like a little creepy, you know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
So I don't really exactly remember the dream. That's how much we brush it off. Like we don't care. We don't care.
Oh, oh.
As long as I got a roof over my head, I got a bill, like I got electricity, I got water, I got heat, I have a
Mhm.
place to sleep. I do you. Um, but but yeah, so the first night I had a bad dream and Jake had a bad dream too. But we didn't know until like the third night that we were both having bad dreams because like I said, we just brushed it off. So the second night we had a bad dream again. And first time is okay, second time is a little spooky, third time is a pattern, right?
Mhm.
So on the third night when I had a bad dream, I was like, oh my God. So I told him, I was like, I had a bad dream. He's like, I had a bad dream too. Bad dream since we've been like sleeping here. And I was like, me too. So I told him, I was like,
God.
yeah. But again, our dreams wasn't like kind of dream.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, it was just more a little creepy. Babe, do you remember your dream?
No, but it was like vivid, and it was really happening, and it was super like it was evil. That's what it was.
You liar.
No, that
He did not say all that. He said he don't remember the dream, but
no,
it was bad.
no, like
Was it ghost? Was it
no. It was people dying for sure.
Oh, so like your worst fear is like losing people you love, losing people you care. Not necessarily
Well, it was like it's like paranormal movie kind of like it was
babe.
okay. Well, yeah.
Are you talking about like those like Thai Asian movies where
Okay, no,
they
that's
get like possessed and huh?
I listen.
But no, like so you know how like spiritual people like with black magic and stuff? That's what Thai movies are usually are.
Mhm. Mhm.
It wasn't like Valdic. Valdic? Is that the name?
I forgot the name. Started with a
I
V.
don't know. Yeah. Coming to like possess them or like attack them or anything like that. I think in Thai it was an actual person.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was always an actual
Yeah.
person being possessed and like yeah. Due to witchcraft. But then on the fourth night, I was like, okay, we have to pray.
Mhm.
I don't care. We have to pray. So for the first time in my goddamn motherfucking life in a long time, I prayed.
Mm.
And we didn't have bad dreams. And then on the fifth night, I told him to pray because it was so weird for me. But no, I think we need to go to church. Cause dad, oh my gosh, what's his girl's name? Cause he has like six little girls. The second youngest one, so she got really sick.
Oh.
Onenga, and they told him that he had to go and convert to being Christian. So he did, and he went to church and all that stuff, and the baby got better. And then all of a sudden, stepmom got sick, and they told her that she needs to convert back to shaman, right? So that's what they did. But in my head, it doesn't make any sense because the second child got really sick because they needed to be Christian, and now the mom got sick. Um, why would they convert back? Wouldn't the second daughter get sick? That the second youngest get sick again?
Mhm.
But she's fine.
I don't know. That's all confusing. Like honestly, when it comes to those things, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, because
I don't like Hmong culture.
I don't know because so everything that happened with Priya was
Mhm.
scary.
Well, what happened?
You don't remember?
I don't know at all.
Okay. So you remember when they were still living at the old house over here by Farview?
The red house
I don't remember what color it was. Yeah, I think so. I think so. You know?
in the space in the corner, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So so there was a time where it was me, Smee, Sophia, and I think Alicia. We were doing something. I think we were like playing with something like Barbie dolls and whatever, right? And Priya came into the room, and I remember her sitting down by Sophia, and just out of nowhere, she just started screaming at the top of her lungs, right? And then that's when TK, their dad, came with the string and tied it around her neck, and then like was saying a couple of words to her, whatever, and then like they took her to go like lay down or whatever, right? That was the first time it happened, right? The second time that I remember was the spookiest.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, I think the second time it happened, I forgot what happened though. I remember it involved Adam this time, but then the third time was where it was really, 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 really spooky. That's where I was like, draw the line, you know? So I was with
You brought it
Shalane.
out the first night.
Yeah, I like you said, the third time, girl. you know. So I was with Shalane and Smee, and we were like shopping somewhere, I think. And then I remember they were drinking the night before. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
with them, but I remember I went shopping with them the day after, and they were like, oh, Pearl said that Pearl wasn't feeling good, so we had to go to her house and check on her, right? So we all went to Pearl's house, and the moment you entered their house, it was like a weird energy, really weird energy. I remember her husband, Sophia and Adam were downstairs, and Pearl was laying in bed with Nicholas. And this time Nicholas was still a baby, so Nicholas was still eating milk from her boobies and all that stuff. So he was laying there with her, and we went to her room where she was laying down, and she was like, "Oh, like I'm not feeling good, like I don't know what's wrong." And this was like after her surgery and everything too. I think it was like there was like water in her kidneys or whatever. So the water in her lungs, kidneys, yeah. so basically, she kept saying that she wasn't feeling good. Like, she just like was not feeling good at all. Like she was feeling really sick. She was, and I was thinking, okay, like they did drink yesterday, so maybe she has alcohol poisoning because like maybe they drank a little too much. She's just genuinely not really feeling good. So I didn't think much of it, and it wasn't until Shalane literally grabbed her phone and she called Auntie Pa and was like, "Mom, I need you to get over here because she's doing it again." And when she said that, because I overheard it, and I was like, boom, chills, bro. And then I'm in there with Smee, as Smee's trying to comfort her and be there for her. And then all of a sudden, Priya just starts saying, like, it keeps looking at me, it keeps looking at me. It's over there, it's over there. She's pointing at the closet because her closet's like at the end of her bed, across the room. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, it's in the closet, like it keeps staring at me, like it's scaring me, all that stuff. And we were just like so spooked. So I took a step back and I went out of her room and I was like, yo, I am like genuinely so spooked right now. I need to like calm myself
Yeah.
down, right? And Sophia comes upstairs and I give Sophia a hug and I'm like, hey, like go back downstairs. Like, your mom's not feeling too good. So just go sit down there with your brother. And we gave Nicholas to her that way. We were like, oh, just go sit down there with your brother. Sophia's crying because Sophia's like scared, she's been through it before. She's scared.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's okay, just calm down, go downstairs. And I walked back into Pura's room. And I thought this only happens in the movies. But she dead ass popped up in the bridge on her bed.
No way.
Dead ass. And I was like,
No way.
I was in such disbelief because I was like, yo, is she fucking with us right now? Because I swear that only happens in the movies. But she dead ass been like that in the bed. And
Was
so
she for real?
yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But when she did that, I was like, crickets,
That's
crickets, crickets.
a lot. She's doing
yeah.
the most. She should be getting paid.
yeah. And then
Oh my god.
yeah. And then honey,
Okay, go ahead.
So at this point, I was in disbelief. I was like, I can't tell if this shit is for real or if it's not. Like I like when she said something about the closet, it was spooky. It spooked me out. But when she put out on that bridge, I was like, wait a minute, you know. And so I literally like was spooked out, but like confused. And then Auntie Pa comes, and Auntie Pa comes with the TK and the brothers and all that stuff. And they get her to sit down on the chair, and at that point they're trying to talk to her, and it was not her, girl. It's straight up.
It was literally like what you see in movies. They tied her down to the chair like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was dead ass like that. And I was like, yo, who has the camera right now? Like, who the fuck is playing this prank on us,
They're not gonna believe for
Yeah.
real. Yeah.
So it actually genuinely was like, yo, what is going on? Like, you know, and like she dead ass was talking in a different voice, giving off different energy. Like she was like, it seemed like she was acting like really drunk, like her body movement, but the tone of her voice, the way her face is looking is like slightly
How
different.
did it look?
Like she was like very pale, like she was like very sick, and like she can't stare at you and just talk to you like a normal person. Like she had to look everywhere, like she's like it was like giving like really drunk or on crack, energy.
Mhm.
So like she couldn't stay still. She was like everywhere, like just disorientated basically. And um, so Auntie Pa tried talking to her, and tried saying a couple of things because she thought she was gonna be helpful, but she wasn't, bro. That thing inside of her was like she was literally saying, "I'm your mom. Like I'm your mom. Like this spirit, I'm the spirit inside your daughter, and I'm your mom." As in she was saying like as if she was grandma basically.
Mhm.
And then Auntie Pa was like, "You're not my mom. You're not grandma because grandma would never do this. Grandma would never do that to harm my daughter, And then
Mhm.
the prayer started laughing, and the prayer was like, she said in Hmong, she was like, "Kuya itu uh joda," you know what that means?
Mhm.
So she was saying that, and she kept saying that, and it was in Hmong, And then like we're all confused, like what's going on, and the mom was like, "You guys need to call the church." Call the church, you know? And so the church came, and mom was like, we need to go because with us being
Oh,
here right now,
right, an audition, huh?
yeah, yeah. So that was the reason why those things were happening was because she kept being constantly in between religions and she couldn't settle. And in the Hmong culture, what's really supposed to happen is that if your husband is Christian and you're a shaman, then you go with because now once you marry your husband, you're his family member now. So
Uh-huh.
you need to transition. It's either you
Uh-huh.
transition or your husband transitions to be like your religion basically. And so
Mhm.
they were strongly Christians. They were going to church, but Priya just wasn't. Priya just they weren't going to church seriously. They weren't praying. They weren't doing a lot of things they were supposed to be doing. And Priya kept attending our shaman stuff and doing things for our shaman stuff and all that stuff, right? And so it
Mhm.
kind of like put her into this in between state, and
Mhm.
it made her very vulnerable. Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, so that was scary. But I mean, now that they're going to church
You
for
guys went to the
real, huh?
Did you guys go to church with them?
No, but I know that they're
No,
going.
when they took her. When they took her.
Oh no, they did it at her house. They did it at her house.
Really?
Yeah. The church came, and I mean, when I talked to Sophie about it, Sophie said they were praying for her and stuff. Yeah,
That was it.
yeah.
That makes me think of my game.
I know, I know. Were you there to see it all?
No, I wasn't. They took me to
Yeah,
the church.
yeah. We didn't get to see either. But see, it was giving you off that vibe too, though.
Wait, so you didn't see the people, the church people pray for prayer?
I mean, we were there for like a little bit because they did start like praying and doing their songs and singing and reading Bible verses, you know. But when they were doing that to her, she was just like screaming, blabbering on a bunch of nonsense. And then that's when Auntie Pao was like, guys, we should go. Our presence here is not helping her and we need to go. So we left it all to the church. But one thing I do remember is that she started throwing up. And just like the movies, it was black goo. Black goo.
You're lying.
I'm dead ass. It was black
You're
goo.
lying. Because you
No.
be exaggerating stuff.
No, I am like a big over exaggerator, but I'm telling you, dude, I think that's what I saw.
You sure that's what you saw? Or is that what you
Shit.
think you saw?
Maybe she had a lot of Pepto Bismol and made her saliva turn black because that's what happens when you take Pepto Bismol. So I don't know.
No freaking way. I know that there was a video of my yang, but I've never.
There was a video of my yang.
Yes, we took it.
Who?
JC did.
Wait a minute. I
They
don't know that.
videotaped like what was happening, and they said that she was like levitating. They didn't want the kids to go, so it was just literally like the grown-ups.
Yeah.
And they did it at Tracy Church.
Yeah. I remember like her acting weird, and then they told us to stay put, and they went to the church. That's all I remember.
What? Where was I during all that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure you were with us because I swear there was like a lot of kids with us.
But I don't remember how it went down, how it started, what happened.
I don't really remember either. I just remember they were like, we're going to the church.
Yeah, we were living in that Lamberton house.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I heard it was pretty scary. I mean, it's either it was pretty scary or everybody else, yeah, son.
Exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm
Yeah,
to be honest, I don't think I can guarantee fully say that she was picking up black goo. I'm just saying I think that's what I remember.
oh, this whole entire time, it wasn't even her being strapped on the floor on the chair. She was just laying down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was just sitting there. I don't think they actually fully strapped her down. Not that I recall. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. Let's pray tonight before we go to bed.
Yeah, you guys should. I'm probably gonna incense my house in a little bit here, but you should invest in sage. Um, it might not do much. If I'm gonna be honest, you might actually have worser dreams. You might anger it. If I'm gonna be honest, but
Well, it doesn't bother us. And like I said, our dreams are not like kind of dreams, you know, they're just dreams. And we typically just brush it off. So
yeah. And
I mean, it's very
I do believe that the more you think about it, the more it drives you crazy. You know, because it's all in the mind. I feel
yeah,
like.
that's true. Jake has a very strong like personality, you
Mhm.
know. So I think his energy, like sometimes, like when I'm home by myself and I'm talking to you guys and you guys say those things, then yeah, it does spook me out a little bit. I do be like wondering. But if we don't talk about it at all, it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Do you're okay at that house?
Yeah, I mean, um, something I realized is that like if I am home alone and I'm scared, I
Mhm.
normally just stay in my room.
Really?
Yeah, being in my room makes me feel comfort, and I can just like make it pass the time. But
Yeah.
one time I tried to be in Angela's room when I was scared, and it just wasn't working. I just felt
Really?
worse. Yeah.
Well, It's been quite some time. I think this is a good place to end it. I just realized that I ate the food without taking the photo.
Are you serious? Oh my
But you
god.
can screenshot like a screen right here, right?
I guess, but it might be blurry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been really busy, and I'm gonna be busy for the next few days because I have my last two finals. And then I have summer classes and all that stuff too, so I might be a little bit busy with that. And there's a lot of things that, we're planning for our future, because we're hoping to get a bigger place. So we might be a little bit busy with that. I'm not sure it will have a video up by next week, but as you can see, we haven't been very consistent. And that's just because, we're finishing off finals, we just had our birthday, and a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yep, guys. Thanks for watching.